Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna cough real fast.
I can tell.
Filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to Critically Casual.
I thought you were doing a voice, and I'm like, no, he's not doing a voice. He's about ready to cough.
It was like a little bit. It started a little bit as a voice, but then yeah, I just had the cough. Hi everybody, welcome to Critically Casual. I'm your host Srekcuf5. Joining me as always is Dorky Dev. Say hi, Dev.
Hi.
Yeah, hi.
I'm just trying to kill the audience at this point, right?
Yeah. Speaking of kill, I was wondering if you were alive this weekend, because after Friday, you just dropped off the internet and
yeah. So
I
I didn't get to. I have a friend who's like 2 blocks away, so I went over there for the night.
Nice.
I went out there, came back home, and then didn't do much Sunday. Fell asleep at my desk from like 4 o'clock to like 8:30 yesterday. So I had to binge watch Nightmare and Freddy real quick versus. So
I mean, at least thankfully, binge watching these movies is only 3 hours, so it's the same.
4.7 hours.
All 3 of them.
Yes.
All 3 of them. So it's about equal to watching modern day 2 movie podcast amount of movies, because it's about 2 hours for each movie, and then some extra time on occasion. So
yeah,
it was nice. It didn't feel like we were watching 3 movies, but we were watching 3 movies. And let's talk about these 3 movies. This week I have called it The Clash of Titans. Aren't I so original? Oh, what's up there, Dev? You look confused.
because my fucking Spotify's not working suddenly.
Oh, Windows updates.
What is happening? I fucking hate Windows updates. They fuck with everything. I force close Spotify, reopen Spotify, play music Spotify.
Never Spotify.
What is happening? Hold on. You know what I'm going to do?
What's that?
I'm going to fix this
All right.
real quick.
Can I still talk about what's going on in the show while you're fixing it?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, cool, thanks. So this week, I called it Clash of Titans. We're going to be talking about, obviously, Friday the 13th Part 2, and the first time we ever see Jason. Then we're going to head into a Nightmare on Elm Street, where the first time we ever see Freddy Krueger, and that's a 1984 version of A Nightmare on Elm Street. And then we're going to go into the, Freddy vs. Jason, which I actually thought was kind of funny to find that on IMDb. They don't call it a horror at all. They call it a drama. And I was like, that's real.
Uh-huh.
So, I guess, are you ready to start talking about the first movie at all?
Sure. Do I have to re-download Spotify?
That would be annoying.
I think I do, because if I play something on here, it can't play. What is wrong with my I usually have background music while we're going, because for me, I like sitting here in silence and talking is a little bit harder for me
I understand.
than it is for Steven.
Yes. To sit in solemn silence.
Steven can do it. I can't.
The difference is it's not silence. I can hear you talking, Dev.
Well, yes. You know what I mean.
I'm joking with you.
Motherfucker.
Sorry, I had to.
So, like, this, I fucking hate Windows updates, dude. It is the absolute worst. Like, there is nothing I think I have more of a bane for than fucking Windows updates, because it fucks with so much just on a small technical level that anytime they do one, I have to, like, find files and delete them and re-download them now. Like, I don't even know where I downloaded Spotify to. Like, which one of my fucking drives I even have that on. Where'd I put it? I don't know.
You can't just go to the uninstall app area and. I'm just asking. I mean, anyone
That's
who
under
knows
settings, right?
Yes. I usually just go to the start search bar and type
storage. I can actually do it from storage, right?
Perfect.
Apps and stuff.
So yeah, if you guys know technology, help
apps.
Dev out. Send them some stuff and some comments and whatnot.
There's Spotify.
But yeah, all right, let's start talking about the first movie here, Friday the 13th Part 2. Hmm. Hmm. Friday the 13th Part 2.
The one that you'll remember the most, if you are a fan of the franchise,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion.
Okay.
If you've seen all of them, I'd say this one's the most memorable because it's the first one with Jason.
I mean, I guess it depends on what you remember, because I think the most memorable one is Jason 10 because of how awful it is. The only one that's
memorable for reason, like in the sense of what this franchise was supposed to be.
okay, that's more understandable. That being said, though, this today, I was kind of bored with it. Like,
well, slashers were slower back in the day.
Obviously, yes. What I mean by that is, I felt like there was no point, really, no real story at all. Like, even comparing it to Part 1, Friday the 13th Part 1, where we get to see the mother, I felt like that one had more of a more cohesive A to B type moment than this movie did by far. And that being said, I still sat there and I watched it and it was okay. I mean, I really enjoyed the intro where we sat there on the long camera angles where nothing's happening but except for the person talking on the phone, and it follows them through the house and it like sets the mood of what's going on. Like, I really liked that stuff in the beginning. But then after that, when we got into the actual like killing and slashing portion, it was okay. Like, it was totally okay. It just didn't quite hit me like it used to when I was a child, you know.
That's fair.
It was just
it's still broken. I re-downloaded it.
Maybe it's. I have no idea. I don't have any answers.
I don't get it. You could just skip song. Oh my god! What did Windows do?
Something happened.
This is going to be a problem for tomorrow. That I'm going to need to solve by tomorrow now. Fuck me, dude.
I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out by tomorrow.
I don't want to have to play the music through the web browser. That's my problem, bro.
I
don't get it.
I'm sorry.
So now it's under system audio. There's so many. There's. I was just talking to Steven about this before the podcast. With my mixer, this isn't the mixer's fault. This is Windows' fault. Because when Windows does something, it changes everything. They can't leave things like somewhat what they were before they did the update. Everything has to reset for some god-awful reason. And because of this, I have things like on certain files. Like Spotify is always on the music playing. That is where it needs to be because that's what it is. It's my music. I'm going to change that there. Game needs to be on game. But now I have to go through each game and retie it to game audio because Windows update. And it just fucking pisses me off because we have a show tomorrow. And now I'm going to have to fucking figure out a fucking workaround. Fuck. Usually, have system audio off when we're doing that show. Because I use that for the intro song because our intro song is on SoundCloud. So I use the system audio for that. I bring that down and off and then bump up music audio for the background music, which is the Stream Beats Lo-Fi by Harris Heller. Because it's chill music to have in the background, right? Well, now I'm gonna have to do that, switch tabs, start that, but make sure the other tab is paused now. Probably just exit it and then go back and put it back. And it's more work than just having the thing already playing and just racing the music, man. I have a system. Sorry, I'm bitching about tomorrow's problems.
It's okay. Now let's get back to talking about today's podcast.
Yes.
Now back to movies. Dev Soap Opera Hour has ended.
Or has it?
It has not. It'll pop up again. I can tell.
Oh, more than likely. Let's be real. Today's one of those days.
Oh, yes. From a certain point of view. All right, so let's start talking. Continue talking. Friday the 13th, Part 2. I saw this through an AMC like free version of the movie, and
I just rented it.
Yeah, I just watched it through. It was free for me, and the worst part about it was it had ads. I had to fast forward through the ads, but other than that, I thought this movie was fine. Like, it definitely, I I was sitting there and I was like remembering all of my intro to like horror studies, and I was like, okay, so here's the setup to the jump scare, and then the diversion, and then about 20 seconds from now we'll get the actual scare. Ah, there it is. Ah.
Yeah, there's a lot of wait for payoffs in
Mhm.
this one, which I think I honestly like more because it does like a lot of this. You do have to suspend disbelief because there's a lot of moments where like, how the fuck didn't you see him?
Mhm.
But I'm willing to let that go for the fact that I think it does suspense better than what well, maybe not modern slasher, because I will say slashers have gotten better in the late 2010s
I
to
mean,
now. The
what's the movie with Pyramid Head? Because I really like
Silent
that.
Hill?
I like that
That's
slasher.
a video game adaptation, so I don't know if I count that entirely. That falls into a different category.
Okay.
But I will say, as you got into the 90s and the 20 aughts, slashers sucked. The only one that I would count as being serviceable would be the first few Saws. And I don't know if I'd consider them slashers. They're not
Uh,
really slashers. There's not the big. I mean, there's a bad guy, but there's not the ominous killer guy.
yeah,
If that
it's
makes sense.
that's more of
It's
a
different.
suspenseful thriller type,
Yeah,
maybe
until the later ones
psychological.
where it's just the gore fest.
Yeah,
Um,
or it's murder
and I think
porn.
that's my problem with these, like where Jason goes in the future. It just gets stupid. Same with, we'll talk about it more with the next one, but same with Freddy, same with Pinhead, same with Michael Myers. And I mean, that was some of my complaints when we went over Halloween last year.
Hmm.
I liked the first Halloween more than I liked the newest Halloween. I did say I liked that Halloween in the sense that it did go back a little bit more to the roots of what a slasher should be,
Hmm.
which is more setup suspense and like seeing that something happen, like the scene with the window where she closes it, but we see him in the building coming at her, and we know what's going to happen. That's suspenseful and that's good setup. My complaint was that like he was just a mass murderer in that one, while the other one he had targets.
Hmm.
Um, this like Jason in this feels more like a suspenseful slasher, which is what I like more from the slasher genre because it builds up to those instead of almost a comedic joke of what a slasher is, which is why I like the Scream movies, by the way, because they are meta about the slasher franchise while also being slashers.
That's one of my favorite things about Scream too. It was a satirical approach to a horror, which then became parodied itself. It's a parody. It's
Well, it keeps parodying the fact that it's parodying, like
yeah.
the fact that there's movies of like the second Scream has a movie in it. I can't remember the name of it
Right.
inside the franchise, but it's making fun of the fact that this is like crazy fucking industry based off of this shit.
Mhm.
Um,
And then based off of that movie, we have Scary Movie, which is ugh.
I mean, the first one's kind of funny, but the genre
Was
itself, the
that?
genre itself slowly and well, not slowly, quickly kills itself.
No, yeah, that was like the only good movie in that whole
No,
genre.
second one wasn't bad.
Mm,
My
we'll get
strong hand.
we'll get into that. I mean, you're not wrong.
Got my strong hand. Just grab on.
Yeah.
Um, but like, I see. I do like that about this movie. There's suspense to it.
Mhm.
It's campy, pun intended.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. I completely forgot that this was a camp for camp counselors. This was camp.
Yes. And the thing was just like, I don't know, like there's a weird moment where like, without spoiling it, half the cast leaves, and then you get the ones who are going to be the cast for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
And one of those ones that leave have been the most interactive in the movies, and he's just out of the rest of the movie after he leaves, pretty much.
Hmm.
Like he's in a couple scenes after they leave, but like he's not going to show back up.
Yeah, he doesn't come back. No.
No, which is weird.
It is a
It's
little
a
bit
weird play. Because like I looked at the timer, I'm like, wait, do the other guys not come back? I've got like 10 minutes left. No, they don't, do they?
What do you think
That's
happens in
sad.
Jason and Friday the 13th Part 3?
I think Friday the 13th Part 3, the like they drive by her going into the ambulance.
Probably.
If I remember correctly.
I
It's been a
don't.
while since I watched Friday the 13th Part 3.
Yeah, same here. I can't remember.
Can't remember offhand, but I think it's that. My mom's favorite franchise of slasher was the Friday the 13th movies. So I watched all of them. Don't remember half of them because like after a certain point they aren't fun for me because they go into that just like they could be fun. I think I'd have more fun with them now than when I was then. Because back then I was such a like satirical shit that like stuff that would be stupid funny I didn't care about as much. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. It'd be in a weird place for me. I don't know. It's like I guess my point is this movie is better than what I think some of the scores were given on it. Like looking at the Metacritic being a 26 is fucking absurd to me as to who the fuck gave it that, because this came out April 30th, 1981 with a budget of $1,025,000. Okay, you know what? Thinking about it, that's a lot of money.
It's kind of a big budget for a slasher film,
but it made a shit ton of money. It made $6 million opening weekend, just about 6.5 almost. Made 21 worldwide because it only opened in the U.S. 21 million as its gross cumulative. That's pretty fucking good. You had a 21 times your budget gross. That is ideal, to say the least. Like, damn, you made your money back then some. But like, I think it's just like, I don't see how anyone could give this a 26, given that like it's not supposed to be high budget. Like $1 million is a lot for 81, but in hindsight, they also didn't have the resources we have today for movies. I'm curious who's giving it those ratings. I'm not going to go look into it because I don't care enough. It's more just a passive curiosity.
Yeah, I was about to say, I definitely don't feel like this deserves that low of a score by any means.
No.
Like, it's not in comparison, like, even compared to other movies that we watched today, I would probably put this on the lower end of those movies, on the movies today. But I still, it's not going to be like a 2 or a 3. Like,
no, I'd put this, like, I'd put it mid-range.
Yeah. Do we want to just get into popcorn kernels?
Probably. There's not a ton else to talk about. Like, we talked kind of on cinematography a little bit. That, there's good long shots and stuff like that, and there's good suspense. There's not much to talk about acting. It's a slasher. I'm sorry. I can't really talk about acting in this one.
I was just looking up, like, some of the characters here. Like, Marta Koper, the woman who plays Sandra, the first lady that we see in this movie, who's not the main lady character. She doesn't do much after. I mean, she does quite a bit up until 95. But then after 95, she just apparently stops acting altogether.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of happens with some of these Scream Queens. I mean, they don't really last long in Hollywood, sadly. Like,
yeah, and some of them go forever. What's her name? Laurie Strode. Damn it, I'm blanking on her name. She's great. She's a fantastic actress. Fuck. She was in Knives Out.
Yep, I'll let you say it before I'll let you figure it out.
I hate myself for forgetting this because she is fucking phenomenal in like anything she's in. No, it's not that, is it? Just say it.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
There, fucking God, dude. That wasn't even close in my head. I don't know how the fuck I fucked that up. Like, how do you forget Jamie Lee Curtis' name? I don't know. My brain's weird. We all know I'm terrible at remembering names. I'm awful at it.
It's okay.
Like the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis left my brain shows that there's like certain information. I'm good at remembering like stupid facts, but like names are my problem.
Oh, I just saw a movie that we'll have to watch sometime. It's
Oh
called
God.
Slumber Party Massacre 3.
She in it? Is that why you saw it?
Yeah.
No, fuck you. We're not doing this to ourselves.
The plot is Jackie Cassidy and her friends are stalked by a serial killer while having a slumber party.
Stop reading it. We'll discuss this later.
Okay.
Sir.
So, all right, Dev, I'm going to give you your 10 popcorn kernels. How
Okay,
many?
I'm gonna give this. I think because like, I have a fond memory of this one growing up.
Mm-hmm.
As kind of being I talked about with the first Halloween. Like these are kind of what I would define as the ideals of what slasher should be. Suspense is needed. You cannot leave suspense out of these movies or else they become dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's my problem with a lot of the sequels to these and the 20 aughts like era of slasher.
Yeah, I was about to say, because they remade Friday the 13th in 2008, and they also remade A Nightmare on Elm Street in 2010.
I remember watching the Nightmare on Elm Street one. It's not that great.
No.
Same with the Friday the 13th one. It wasn't that great. So like I would give this one better than that. So I'm gonna give it a 7.
7? All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.
Nice. That's more than I'm going to give it. Like,
I
don't
know,
get me
you're
wrong.
going out of 5.
5.5.
Oh, more than I thought.
Right? I'm not as much as a cynic as you thought. That half a point is from my childhood.
Which rounds it up to a 6.5. Because it would be in between, but we don't do in betweens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we do in betweens, but we don't do in between the in betweens. Like, we're not worrying that hard about it. We're not going quarter points. Fuck that. It'd be a pain in the ass. Unless we do it in 2021.
Ba, ba, ba. No.
No, fuck that.
Too much hassle. All right.
Seriously.
All right, let's start and move on into our next movie here, which is A Nightmare on Elm Street, the 1984 edition. I made sure to clarify.
That's fair. That's fair. Because there is one. That is fair due to the fact that, like,
It's
there is
literally
another
called
one.
A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, and I've got to rename a couple of these things in here because, like, they're not perfect, like, on the thing. Because there isn't another Friday the 13th Part 2, is there?
I don't think so, no.
I would say, so, like, all right, my honest opinion, acting in this is better than what you got in the Friday the 13th Part 2, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Not by leagues and bounds, though, because, again, it's a slasher. I'm not expecting acting in these films.
Yeah, especially, like, when a big majority of the acting in this movie is how, like, in all slashers, actually, is how you can make it look like you're running fast while not running at all. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh my God. Or Jason, or Freddy, sorry, as he's chasing people. Like,
Yeah.
But that being said, I enjoyed, like, the acting, not leaps and bounds better, no, like you said. But I thought, like, a lot of other things were better. Like, I like the suspense better. I love the imagery that they invoked more, especially that very famous, like, face and knives coming out of the ceiling moment.
That is such a great effect.
Oh, it's so amazing.
That is such a fantastic effect.
Same with, like, the sinking in the bed moment, too. Like,
yes.
This
like,
movie...
This movie is fantastic with those kind of, like, practical, brilliant effects, in my opinion.
Like, this movie, I think, does very good when it comes to the suspense, and the story it tells as well, because it feels like it actually tells a story from A to B, rather than in Friday the 13th Part 2, where it's just kind of a murder rampage party.
It's a slasher. That one's just a slasher.
The only conflict that I really have with this movie is it does good things and bad things. Like, there's one point in this movie where our main character burns her arm in the dream, and then it comes to her in real life. and it's like, oh wow, look at that. And she like, they spend time to show it in on film, but they do not explain it other than we see her burn her arm and then that. And I love that. I was like, cool. They're actually showing rather than telling. And they do that for a couple of things until later on in the movie where they go into like the dream clinic and they just 100% exposition like, oh, I stole this out of a dream.
Well, I could excuse that one because she's also trying to explain it to them. Like, she's trying to explain how it happened. So, like, which would sound insane trying to say.
I mean,
so, like, I think it works in the movie.
Like, it does make sense because we actually get to see it from the outside because we get to experience the dreams every single time from inside. And this is the only time we get to experience it from the outside looking in, really. Well, other than when people actually die. But this is the first time the parent actually gets to see it happen. So
yes. Which, creative kills in this one, I will give that. There's some creative kills. Like, I mean, the whole like million cut ceiling evokes a little bit of Exorcist from me. The bed.
Yeah, you're gonna need a mop is the one that sticks out to me,
dude. Right.
So
I do like the ending to this because it's somewhat up to interpretation. It's not.
No,
but it is at the same time. Like, is it over? Like, are they done?
Like, yeah, it's weird because they both established the rule for Freddy in this movie, like how he has his power and whatnot. But at the same time, they also don't really follow it because of the end of the movie. Like,
which his power gets explained through other ones. So
yeah,
but as an individual, which works because I mean they probably plan on making a sequel to this. Because I mean, what? Let me see. What came out November 16th of 1984 with a budget of 1.8 million, U.S. opening with 1.2 million, and then worldwide / U.S. cumulative growth at 25.5 million. So again, made quite a bit of its money back. Made its money back and then some. So, you know, they definitely knew they were going to continue it. So, not to excuse it in this one, but they do take the liberty to explain it as the time goes on. Which, if we were reviewing the franchise, fine. As an individual, I mean, it is a point that you can take against it. I don't know. It's just interesting because it's just like, I don't know. Like, this movie is just very different than the other ones, than Halloween and Friday the 13th.
Yeah, this one's a lot more psychological, but I also like it myself. Like, this movie I enjoy a lot. Like, I enjoy the fact that they do these trippy visuals and super surreal, over the top type things, because that's kind of what happens in your dreams. They're surreal and they're over the top, and it translates at times. Though at the same time, I don't like what Freddy does in some of his decision making. Like, and we'll especially get into that when we talk about Freddy versus Jason. But
oh my god.
Like, I definitely enjoy this movie. If I were to choose between watching the last one and this one, I would definitely choose this one again.
I think I'd choose this one again as well.
Yeah. Though then if we start asking, like, if I'd rather watch Friday the 13th Part 1 compared to this one, then we might start getting a little mixed up. But I still think I like what they do more in this movie myself.
That's fair.
Yeah. Though some things that I do think are kind of dumb are like, there's conflict between our main character and her mother. Like, there's a conflict in there because of reasons, spoilers. But then we start talking about, like, the mother's drinking problem, which wasn't a thing until it's brought up on screen. And then they really hammer it home. Like, um, and then there's silly things like explosions are going off in a house with police right across the street, and the police are like, "Huh."
Maybe I should
Yeah,
hit someone.
exactly. That's the exact moment I'm thinking of. She's screaming and breaking windows, and they're like, it seems fine.
Maybe I will
Yeah, maybe
actually do my job.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's that, I guess. Plus, gotta say, first appearance for Johnny Depp, not a bad appearance.
Yeah, no. Like, I knew he was in this, obviously, because everyone knows that he's in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It is always kind of funny seeing him in this movie, because you're like, oh yeah, you're gonna be
Jack Sparrow.
You're gonna be in a very, very famous person here soon.
Mm-hmm. This is your shot to make yourself famous, young man. What are you gonna do? Wear really short crop top shirts. Ah, yeah. No worries. So let's. Is there anything else we want to talk about in this?
I don't think so. I think we're more ready to go into the next one.
All right. So in that case, can I get my popcorn kernels?
You got your popcorns.
Awesome. So I'm gonna give this movie a solid 7.5.
Well, funny you say that,
Because
because that's exactly what I gave it for me. So it is an exactly solid 7.5.
Yeah, like this
It's
is
weird when we end up at the exact same point. I always find that funny.
I mean, it's almost like we were friends. Grew up together and have similar tastes.
We really do not have similar tastes. You and I have such vastly different tastes. Sometimes it's jarring.
Yeah. Who would have thought that this weirdo that I became would really like slow movies?
I have no idea. I would never have fucking predicted it.
All right, movie 3. We're moving on.
Movie 3.
Freddy?
Okay, can I say something about this movie?
Hit me.
Freddy versus Jason. After I get to the facts, coming out on August 15th of 2003, with a budget of, oh god, 30 million. Far more than where these things had humble beginnings.
Mm-hmm.
Opening US at 36 million, gross US at 82 million, and worldwide at 116 million. So it made well over triple the budget worldwide. This is during the era when we had like AVP and AVP2 as well. Like, this is a weird time where we had some like weird versus movies coming out.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember all the other ones. I feel like there were more though.
No, I agree with you. I 100% agree with you, because I feel like there were definitely more movies where it's like crossover this, crossover that, crossover this.
Yeah. Man, this movie is garbage. I will say, I was having fun up until a certain point when they said a certain word.
Is it the B word?
No.
Okay.
It was when they dropped the fucking the slur F. That like totally took me out of the movie. I'm like, oh yeah, this is early 2000s. Like, common decency about this shit wasn't around yet.
Dude, and no, it's so dumb too. Like, there's a lot of moments that take me out of this movie. Like the fucking centipede, that the like Alice in Wonderland montage. The freaking finale of the movie where Freddy's like, "Ooh, I'm gonna kill this black woman because she's black."
He says dark meat.
Yes.
What the fuck movie?
He's literally chasing down the woman who's been his problem and like a thorn in his side the entire movie. He has her trapped, and instead of finishing her off, he's like, I'm gonna go kill that black woman because dark meat.
Because a racist joke.
Yeah.
Like that entire scene, and that's also when she says to him the F slur, and I am like, man, like, I didn't want him to kill you, but now I kind of do. movie? Damn it. Why? Why? Why 2000s? Why were we okay with this? It just sucks. I don't know. Like, up until that point, I could have fun with the campiness of the movie because this movie is not trying to be good.
Mm-hmm.
Gave that up a while ago. But man, there was a part of me that was like holding out that I could enjoy this entire thing. Completely forgetting the fact that that line was in there. I don't know. It just like it happened. And I was like, all right. Movie has lost me.
Yeah. I mean, the movie lost me kind of right at the very beginning because the whole plot of the movie is Freddy revives Jason and then Jason just doesn't know when to stop.
Jason just Jasons.
Yeah, so and you lose me instantly only because it's like, when did Freddy learn to travel through hell and resurrect people? I mean, it's Jason Voorhees. Of course, he's not actually dead or whatnot, but like,
Oh, he's sleeping.
yeah. But still, if Freddy has no power because nobody knows about him,
How the fuck would Jason have any idea who he is
yeah,
and wake up?
yeah.
Is he just is Freddy just able to go into dreams and just like do that? Because if so, he could just bring himself up in people's dreams.
I would think so, yeah. But no, apparently not. Plus, I do think it's kind of silly how as soon as like a character learns his name, they apparently fall asleep. Even though they're like wide awake in the moment, they're like, "What's his name? What's his name? Oh, that's his name. I'm gonna have a dream about him right now."
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Yeah. And then they do silly things like they do the Freddy blasting his face through metal thing because it's something that he did in the first movie, but it's not really earned. It's not creepy. It's just a jump scare metal thing. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it's not great.
And then the whole plot is just action. And
I will say, like, I started to have like I had fun with it when they realized like I started to have fun with it when we got to the party.
okay.
And like shit went a little wild with Jason. Who I think arguably out of the three main big killers, right? The three big screen killers, which would be Jason, Freddy, and Mikey. I think Jason has to have the highest body count, especially because of this movie.
You know, that's hard to say because I kind of agree with you, but I don't know. Because, I mean, there's a lot of body counts in all of these movies.
Agreed. But I think just based off of what we've seen, I think Jason takes it.
I mean, plus
Like
Jason literally has twice as many movies. So.
No, Mikey has way more. Mikey has the most movies.
I think Mikey only has about 6 or 7.
In the original franchise, yeah. Then you got to count Rob Zombies and then the new one. Because you got like Halloween's part 1 through. Hold on.
So I might be forgetting a couple sequels in the. Because I remember there's.
How many?
Because there are,
movies
including
are there?
this movie, there are 12.
There are 13. 13 Halloween movies.
Okay, there are 10 Jason movies. Then, of the original timeline. Then there is a reboot of the first of Friday the 13th. And then there is Freddy vs. Jason, so that's 12. Okay.
So
there's one more Michael Myers movie.
So you've got Halloween, Halloween 2, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 4, Return of Michael Myers, Halloween 5, Revenge of Michael Myers, Halloween 6, Curse of Michael Myers, which goes back and resets some of the timeline. You have Halloween H2O, 20 years later, Halloween Resurrection, Halloween, which is the Rob Zombie one, Halloween 2, Rob Zombie sequel. Then you have Halloween, which is the one that came out last year. And then that's going to have two sequels, Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends.
Hmm.
So it goes Halloween 1 through 5, resets to Curse of Michael Myers. If I remember correctly, it's oh no, that's his final. Okay, that's 6. Okay, that's 6. So it goes 1 through Curse. And then H2O resets the timeline at some point.
Like
And
the
then
worst
Resurrection is
Halloween.
the sequel to that. And then there's another reboot with Halloween Rob Zombie.
Mm-hmm.
And then Halloween that came out last year is a direct sequel to the first Halloween.
Ignoring all the other movies.
Yes. And then Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends is the follow-ups to those. So we have 13 movies. Let me see. I'm just gonna base off of guesstimation through movies. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna actually look at the body counts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's more. There's about Jason has had as many movies. It looks like, as Mikey's going to have after the next two, because there's Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 2, Part 3, the final chapter, A New Beginning, 6, 7.
Isn't
8.
7 He Takes Manhattan?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the
8.
that's the worst one. Other than
Jason
10.
Goes to Hell, the final Friday. Jason X.
Where he's in space.
Friday versus Jason, and then Friday the 13th, 09.
Yeah,
Just based off of that.
that's 12 movies there.
Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I just counted.
No worries.
I would still think Jason has more because he just kills more in his movies.
Mm-hmm. He just murders. That's all he does. That's part of the reason why I enjoyed Friday the 13th more, is because it seemed like there was more substance to each kill rather than just indiscriminate murdering.
Wait, you mean Nightmare on Elm? Oh, you meant Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, you're good. You're good. I got you. I knew what you meant. Yeah, and I would guess. I think Freddy might have less than Mikey because he's only got Nightmare on Elm Street, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, 3, Dream Warriors, 4, Dream Master, 5, Dream Child, the Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare, Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
7.
You've got Freddy versus Jason, and
8.
then A Nightmare on Elm Street,
9.
the 2010 reboot.
Mm-hmm. I like the Wes Craven movie. I kind of enjoyed the Wes Craven one, but I need to rewatch.
Well, he did the first one. He was the screenwriter and director of the first one, of the OG, and then he went back for Wes Craven's New Nightmare. And it's not part of the same continuity.
Nope.
But
talking about Freddy versus Jason specifically.
Yeah, sorry, we had a good tangent there. Sorry. Good to have tangents occasionally. Okay, it's fun.
No, yeah, it's fine to have tangents.
Again, so I will reiterate, Jason has the most kills, especially based off of this movie. Because Jesus Christ, Freddy doesn't kill shit in this movie.
No, he doesn't. He literally kills...
Does he kill anyone?
He kills... No. No. The closest
he has a body count of 0 in this.
Yeah, the closest he gets to killing somebody is the boy he mind controls. And then Jason kills him.
But he gets them killed.
Yeah.
Or is he already dead at that point? It's undefined.
It's undefined. I'm going to say that he's not dead at that point, though.
Would we give it a kill assist?
Yes.
He has 1 assist in this entire movie, then. He doesn't kill anyone else. Not a single fucking person dies to Freddy in this entire movie, called Freddy versus Jason. While Jason, I can name 5 off the top of my head, and he does well more than that.
Mm-hmm. And there's some creative kills in there, too.
Yeah.
Though there is some bad stuff in there too. Like there's the one guy who runs away like through the cornfield before he gets impaled. Like the whole time he's like, no. And then right before he dies, no, yeah, and the fire just cuts him off and catches up. But then right before he dies, he's like, like suddenly now he has a bunch of liquid in his mouth as he's running away. Huh.
And a very CGI blade went through him.
Yes.
A very 2003 CGI blade.
Which I also thought it was kind of funny that they kind of turned Jason even more into a troll. Like, he just looks like a Lord of the Rings troll. Or maybe an Urukai.
Yeah, he's yeah. You know what he looks more like? He looks like the guy. He looks more like the guy from uh Goonies. The character from that. I can't remember his name.
I can't
Chunk?
either.
No, not Chunk. Chunk's the kid. Um, the character that Chunk like becomes friends with.
Can't remember, honestly. I know who you're talking about, but I can't remember.
But he looks like that character without hair and like a more rounded head. That is what this Jason looks like.
I mean, except for the weird random child scene.
Well, he looks like that too.
No, okay.
What do you mean by that?
It just feels really weird and out of place in this movie.
Well, no, Freddy's got to go into your nightmares.
Ooh. Which, dude, I fucking forgot how much he says the word bitch in this movie, and I was very much brought back to freaking Rick and Morty.
Bitch.
Yeah, you can run, but you can't hide, bitch. Hey, no, call me bitch at the house. Sorry, bitch. I mean, sorry.
Yeah, there's man, this movie really just not great. And I was like, again, I will say there got to a point where I was giving into the stupid, and the movie said some stupid things, and I'm like, you've lost me. You've lost me because of this.
Mhm.
Like, straight up, you've lost me because you're stupid. Like, you've showed like I can date this movie because of that.
Yes.
Because of what it said. Like, I couldn't date this movie because of him saying bitch all the time.
No.
Like, okay, whatever. There's some other things that maybe I could date it from. Like, if the CGI was touched up, maybe not. But some of the lines maybe a little bit. Like, I could have gone like somewhere in the 20 aughts.
Mhm.
But like, yeah, this moment they dropped that slur, I was like, ooh, yeah, you do not age gracefully at all.
And even then, too, like going through this movie, I didn't find really anything creepy or scary. It was a lot of action. There was some pretty decent comedy.
There were I enjoyed some of the Freddy Jason fighting.
Yes,
stuff.
Freddy actually versus Jason was pretty entertaining. I especially
the 3-part struggle that
Yeah.
they did. Because there's 3 acts to their fight, which I kind of like.
Mhm.
Like they broke down their fight into a 3-act fight, and I'm like, you know what? Good. This is what I'm here for.
I especially loved the ending fight, like where it suddenly breaks down into heavy rock metal, like, and you're like, "Ah, shit, things are about to happen."
So fucking dumb.
And then, yeah, then the end of the movie. How did you feel about the end? Like, things happen. Protagonists survive. Spoilers. But we're left off with like a stereotypical ending to these movies because they always have to end with the is he? Did he not? Maybe he won't.
Part of me wishes there was a sequel.
I kind of do too.
I hate myself for saying it.
Yeah, like I would. I know it's not good. The sequel would not be a good movie, but
No.
I think it'd be entertaining to watch for sure. And hell,
Yeah.
why not throw Michael Myers in here too? Just postpone it a couple days, maybe about 2 weeks, and then you can hit Halloween as well. And it's a Nightmare on Elm Street to Camp Crystal Lake Halloween. Maybe throw some Pinhead in there too. Get some Hellraiser going.
I don't know. Pinhead sucks compared to the rest.
Yeah, kind of.
I don't know. I'm not a huge Hellraiser fan. I think I saw like one of those.
I saw most of them, but the only thing I can remember is like a guy getting separated by hooks, and he was very happy about it.
Seems more like the predecessor of Saw more than anything.
That might be pushing it a bit.
I'm just saying in the body horror.
I hear you. Yeah. That was actually something I was kind of worried about with these movies, that I thought you were going to say it was too much body horror, because there's a lot of gore in these movies.
Well,
just
not
blood
in the same
everywhere.
This one, yeah, more than the other ones, but like this one's just campy stupid.
Mhm.
The other two I wouldn't necessarily call body horror. I think they're more slasher horror. So it goes into a little bit different genre, in my opinion. Like the kills in like Friday the 13th Part 2, I wouldn't necessarily call any of those kills gory.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're brutal, but there's none that like actually seem gory in my brain, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
Nightmare on Elm Street, I would say, is more gory, quote unquote, but I wouldn't call any of it body horror. Like yeah, there's the whole like upside down waterfall of blood, which is gory in a sense, but it's not like body horror.
Yeah, it's not
There's
just
no body horror in that movie.
though I do wonder. I mean, yeah, there's no real body horror, so I guess I understand your point here. But do you think they made Freddy too perverted in this last movie? Like,
What? No.
no, all right.
Yes.
Because in the
God.
first movie, just based off of what he was, we didn't really get pervert. Well, I mean, there were moments.
There's moments like the phone. I'm your new boyfriend.
Yeah. Or the rising up through the bathtub water between her legs.
That's an iconic shot.
Yes.
Like, that is. You think of or A Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what you think of.
But that one, it weirds me out sometimes because she's supposed to be 15 or 16. And they're like, hello, little girl. So.
Well, why do you think like the remake had him as an actual predator, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that far of a stretch to create like to go there with that character. After everything we've seen from this character.
Man.
Yeah.
It's just like, I know that it's not hard to turn
there's
him into a sexual predator, but.
There's a scene in this where he gets way rapey.
Oh, 100%.
And I'm like, okay, I'm uncomfortable because, yeah, I'm uncomfortable.
And it's just because they added it in because they needed to be like, oh, all right, what are we going to do to make him seem like an even worse person and add up the conflict, because technically she's still asleep in the real world, but we don't want her dead because that would just ruin the movie. So what are we going to do to her instead? He essentially molests her, rapes her.
He doesn't get far. He just starts to take off clothing and she gets burnt. And then she drags him back into the real world, which is where the fun begins. I don't know, man. Like, this movie is so all over the fucking place.
I especially think it's interesting.
Okay, can I just say this? The fact that the Metacritic on this is higher than Friday the 13th Part 2 pisses me off.
See, the Metacritic is a lot more like, it's just turn your brain off, man. It's 2000s, bruh.
I don't care. At least the IMDb scores make sense. Like, it's a 7.5, a 6.1 for 7.5 for Nightmare, 6.1 for Friday the 13th Part 2, and a 5.7. I'd give it lower than that, but like, man, this movie is garbage. So I don't know how anyone would actually like truly enjoy this movie.
All right, Devin, I'm gonna give you your popcorn kernels in that case, so we can talk about spoilers for Freddy versus Jason.
All right, do I dock a full point then for that? I feel like I have to. I'm gonna give it 3.5.
3.5. Ooh, worse than
Not
I thought,
good.
honestly.
There's not a lot to this. Like, there's not a lot of like, I mean, there's a couple creative kills, but there's not a lot of else to enjoy in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, if you're enjoying it, like, because this movie shows its age with that, like, that one scene alone, like, made me just stop enjoying the movie.
Okay.
Because of its age.
I'm running into this thing where it, like, remember that one complaint when we watched Captain Marvel? Oh, I hit some Wisconsin there. When we watched Captain Marvel, we had that one random person be like, "Oh, here's a bunch of social justice warriors."
There.
I could see that being a much more major complaint nowadays.
I don't care. I mean, I'm not good. Like, it shouldn't have been okay then, because it's not okay. So the fact that it was used as the insult.
Yes.
Fully. No context, just thrown out there. There was no reason to use it. And it's just thrown in there. I mean, that's an entire point to me. Like, a movie today could do that, and I'd still dock it a point. Like, this isn't like, but a movie today's not going to do that because they're not idiots. At least I hope. I don't know.
I'm giving this one a 4.5.
So just an even 4 overall. Wow, we had every type of score on this. We had one that we had to find the perfect middle, one that we had to round up, and one that was a solid. It's rare that even on a triple we do that. Because, like, the last triple, Dark Knight, we had 2, like, identical scores that we had. And then one that was a split.
See, we just got a huge variety of movie is what we got. Variety and quality of movie.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. Can you get the spoiler button? Do your buttons work?
Let me check. It wasn't set to the right profile, but yeah.
All right.
It's not, like, it was set under A, which I don't even remember what this is.
Fuck you.
Oh.
That's what it was.
Right.
Fuck you.
I need to figure out the file for that because I lost it on my other one. I need to go get that because that's the crispest fuck you I've ever given.
You're so proud of that.
That's a good fuck you. It's genuinely a good fuck you. Can you say otherwise?
Fuck you.
Because that was me hamming it up a little bit to, like, do the bit, but it came out as genuinely as my fuck yous usually sound.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you could probably find a good couple of other fuck yous. You could probably record a couple of good other fuck yous, honestly, if you really had to.
But that's a good fuck you.
So yeah. All right, let's start talking.
Fuck you.
Freddy versus Jason. Spoilers.
Yes.
Yeah, as we determined, Freddy gets absolutely 0 kills. And
God, he gets an assist. I hadn't even thought about that. That's why I'm giving it so much lower, by the way. I think I probably would have given this a 5 overall, but because of that, I docked a half a point because Freddy's the first name you see and he doesn't get a single kill, and then dropping the F slur. That's a point off. So this movie lost a point and a half from saying something stupid and not giving Freddy a single fucking kill in a movie titled Freddy versus Jason. I cannot think of a single kill he got because Jason gets the first boyfriend, gets the boyfriend's friend and dad killed. Then we go to the party next, right?
We get a couple of moments where Freddy does a couple of scares, like scaring the girl with the nose job, even though it does nothing, scaring the guy in the street, even though it does nothing. But then we get the party,
where Jason gets 2 kills because one girl passes out and a guy starts to try to molest her, which was fucked up. They both die. Because
she pops right in front of Freddy, and he's like, "No, that's just my kill." Ah!
So we've got 5 kills. Then he neck breaks the one jock, throws the sword through the machete through the second jock, kills 3 more people at the party. He's already at 10, and we're at the halfway point of the movie. Freddy hasn't killed anyone. All right, next up, we go to the fucking
Freddy kills one person. He kills a psychopath friend, the one who breaks out of the asylum.
Oh, yeah, that's the next kill. Oh, Freddy gets 1.
Freddy got 1 kill.
Okay, the fact that it's not that memorable still means it lost that half point.
Yeah,
every one of Jason's is memorable as well.
Like, he burns Freddy's back onto the guy's back, man. Like, isn't that so clever?
Dumb. I forgot how dumb that was. I forgot that is his kill because of how fucking dumb it was. But by the point Freddy gets a kill, Jason's already racked up a 10 times body count. And he's gonna kill, what? 1, 2, 3, 4 more people? He's gonna have a body count of 14 by the end of the movie.
My favorite kill, by the way, is when he electrocutes the sheriff by electrocuting him through himself. Yeah.
Dude tries to go by. Puts his arm up against him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that he's actually laughing, but you know what I mean. Like, that was such a thing where it's just like, it looks like he's not gonna move. That was good. That's the one good like shock horror for a second there, like moment of oh shit kind of moment. That's the closest to horror you get into this movie because it's surprising that he did that. Doesn't make it good.
I'm still bugged by the fucking Alice in Wonderland centipede scene. Like,
dude, that showed up and I'm like, I forgot that this is in this movie.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Literally,
man?
It's like, why is this even here? Like, I thought the whole idea is Freddy is scary, and that's not gonna make a stoner scared. And I don't know.
I think he's trying to lure in the stoner, which that would work.
Probably. Ew.
Cannot confirm nor deny.
I mean, if I was smoking weed and I saw a giant centipede coming towards me, I'd question if I was actually smoking weed.
You're not smoking psychedelics, are you?
Exactly.
What the fuck was this laced with?
Yeah, I'd be like, oh, am I gonna die?
Smoke at you, and then crawls under a door. What do? Do you follow it through the door?
I'd probably not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've been on acid before, and I don't follow that shit.
And then it goes in his mouth, and then like that whole fucking thing where he gets cut in half, and then the fucking like tranquilizer thing.
Yeah, which bugs me. Like, why haven't we ever tranked Jason before? If that's really all you need to do, is to trank him so he passes out, and then you can move him and put him in places.
What are you gonna do if you trank him? Where are you gonna put him? You're not gonna stop him, right?
You'll find.
Where are you gonna put him that stops him? Because he finds some fucking way to move and teleport. You know what's gonna happen? He's gonna be able to teleport through cameras that time. Because you're gonna have like a surveillance camera in there that's watching him in the room. And then all of a sudden you're gonna look away and look back and be like, where the fuck is he? And then you're gonna look at the cameras, and then you're gonna see the camera in your room, and you're gonna in your security room, because there's one in there. And you're gonna look at that camera, and he's right behind you.
No, you're gonna look into the camera, and you see him staring into the camera. You're like,
and now it's Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah, and then as soon as you turn around, he's right behind you. Dude, that reminds me of the Grudge movie, because the American Grudge movie where she goes to work and she sees the Grudge on the cameras.
Well, and then the other thing too is just like, I think the best part of this movie though is the Freddy versus Jason parts.
Yes.
The first fight in the dream is fucking hysterical. I fucking love that.
I thought it was great until he becomes a child again.
Okay, that part sucks.
Yeah.
You just go into that and it's just like, oh yeah, he was bullied because he looked different. I get it. All right. We already understand why Jason is Jason. Dude, we don't need this.
It reminds me of the worst Jason movie, one of the arguably worst, Jason 7, Jason Takes Manhattan, where the end of that movie, spoilers for that movie, is they boil him in acid, and when he comes back out, he's a kid again. Like, that's kind of what it makes me. Yeah, like he gets rained in acid, and then
I don't remember this.
Yeah, and he like
been a while. I obviously have not watched through this franchise in a bit.
Yeah, he gets poured acid on him, and then he like turns back into his child kid self, and that's how they end the movie. And that's kind of what that made me think of. It was just a really bad.
But the pinball thing was fucking
That
hilarious.
No, yeah, that was silly too. I was like, they gave Freddy all of the super meta like sound effects, like the pinball sounds, or like just all these really out of context sounds that come from nowhere, but they make sense in a funny moment. Like
a dream sequence.
Mhm.
Like his powers in the dream made sense, and I had fun with that. And then there's the whole childhood thing, and then we get out of there, and we get the Jason versus Freddy Part 1 real world, which is real quick, but Jason just beats his ass real quick.
Yeah, just launches
throws
them
him-
across the floor.
And my favorite part is the window. Ah! And you just hear Freddy.
Oh, yeah, and then we
they
get
Yeah, go ahead.
and then we get to the dumb scene that you hate because of the F joke, the insult, and I
Yes.
hate because of the racism.
I mean, we both hate him for both reasons. I just make this real. We hate it for both reasons. It's just I'm going harder at that angle. Steven's going harder at that angle. They're both bad.
Mhm.
Like this scene ruins everything.
It really
just completely takes you out of the movie. You're like, oh my god, you are a 20-aughts movie, and I hate it.
And then we get fight 3, where
The construction site.
yeah,
Who the fuck's doing construction at Crystal Lake, by the way? Who is dumb enough to do this?
yeah, and it's so stupid too. Like Jason is or Freddy is a comedy now at this point because he fucks himself up and like, oh no, oh fuck no, and he gets delivered to Jason.
So what
like
happens is like Freddy's able to teleport.
kind of, yeah. It's
That's
not.
the only way to explain what happens.
Mhm.
Which doesn't make sense because he's in the real world, and we don't see him be able to do this, as far as I know.
Mhm.
So what happens is they go like Freddy shoots torpedoes of these canisters at him, and he's like, "Fire the torpedoes!"
Yeah, still dumb joke again.
And Jason gets hit by 2 of them. One like knocks him, and the second lifts him up and over to the construction site. And then Freddy teleports to the top of the construction site, hits him with a whole bunch of rebar, and then tries to push this like huge thing of like dirt or concrete at him, and it gets stuck.
Mhm.
And then Freddy pushes the thing like, oh yeah, he had already pushed down the crane thing and hit Jason like 15 times with it.
Mhm.
But Jason hasn't moved, which just either that rebar is really fucking strong, or Jason is seriously a fucking mountain, and how could Freddy ever stand a chance against him?
That's
In a fair
honestly
fight.
what I was wondering. I was watching this and I was like, dude, Jason wins this hands down. Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't die. He doesn't stop. He just fucking, he's an unkillable
tanks it.
object.
He's a tank, dude.
Yeah.
He's a fucking tank in this. So, like, when that happens, I'm like, okay, there's no way. There's absolutely no way Freddy takes this. Because then he does the thing and he falls and gets caught on the fucking crane thing.
Yeah. Oh,
And
fuck.
fucking-
Fuck,
Oh,
no.
Bam!
Yeah.
Ah,
And is delivered like on a silver platter to Jason. Like, hello,
But you gotta remember, he
bitch.
has another moment of as he gets dragged across the thing. What the fuck how is this crane thing moving this way, by the way, and has this much momentum?
It would have stopped.
Its pattern makes no sense to me.
Hmm.
'Cause it's like ting, ting, grrr. Like there's no way it would go over there. It's got a pendulum. Like maybe it'll rotate a little bit, but it's not gonna like
See, what they did
hit
is
wall and go across the wall.
See, what they did is when they programmed it in their editing software, they just followed the DVD symbol guide where it bounces across the walls, and then they turn that into the
It
crane.
never follows a wall. It never follows a wall. At least that has a pattern to it. You know where it's
No,
gonna
yeah.
deflect next. That makes sense. This doesn't. And then Jason grabs him, starts beating his ass, and then the thing falls down and finally hits them, and somehow rockets them to the fucking dock.
Yeah, I was like, the dock and the construction site are right next to each other because they are at the dock. Then he gets hit by the barrels and goes to the construction site. Then they're both hit by the crane and immediately go back to the dock. Even
But
though
they
we never
fly so far to that dock.
Yeah, and we never see the construction site any other time except for in this fight moment.
Well, we see it when it pans over that way, so we know it's there. But like the distance, okay, so the distance that they would have had to gone was at least 20 yards hit from that. Jason got hit by a fucking giant metal crane and didn't move. And this thing sends him 20 fucking yards. Movie. I still love it, but I hate it at the same time because then we get the dock fight, which is arguably the most boring part of it, but not bad. Because at the same time, like it's a fight, and then like Freddy's getting his ass beat, but cuts off Jason's fingers.
And then Jason's just like, "Fuck you! I'm gonna take your entire arm, you piece of shit."
Yeah, and then the dock goes on fire, and there's an explosion, but Freddy lives, and then Jason comes up behind, and it's just like they try almost kill each other with their own weapons. And it's supposed to be somewhat symbolic.
Yeah, but
Lame.
it's dumb because Jason eventually just quits. He just stops for some reason. Even though we've determined that he can't be stopped and he can't be killed, he just like, I'm done. I decided to be done. I feel like taking a nap. And then Freddy, at the end of the movie, it turns out he's also not dead because, he's the man of dreams, and as long as you remember him, he's alive. So I don't know. It's very meh.
Yeah.
But it was entertaining. Like, if you shut off your brain and just enjoy the heavy metal fights, it's okay. But then you have to deal with the racism and the bigotry and the
Yeah.
So keep that in mind when you watch this movie. But I've got nothing else on it. If you've got nothing,
no.
All right, we're heading on out to the news. We're wrapping.
I would have expected the triple this week to be one of the shorter ones this month.
I mean, each one of these movies was only an hour and a half long. What did you expect?
Yeah, fair. Still.
No, I hear you though. Like, and plus it's slashers. There's not much substance to all of these. Some of them have more than others, but yeah. Let's see here. Looking at news and things. A lot of the time I just try to find news that entertains me or interests me. And I'll be honest, not much seemed entertaining or interesting this week. Like, I don't know. Like, nothing really seemed to catch my attention. I mean, I know that Robert Pattinson is back to actually filming on set. It's been a month since he's actually been on set for the Batman movie. They started continuing filming 2 weeks afterwards, but 2 weeks now after that, he's come back to the set and is filming again. So that was something.
We talked about that last week?
We talked about them starting up again. And I think that was about 2 weeks ago. But not that he had come back onto set.
Because he had left set again, right? For a little bit, because they said that he was... I don't know if you saw the article about him being like out of shape, apparently.
He took 2 weeks off, and now he can't be Batman. He's out of shape.
Yeah. I was talking about it with my friend. And so, like, I was talking about it, and they're like, oh, he's got to, like, be bulky and something. I'm like, Batman doesn't have to be bulky. It's just to be fit. And the problem with that is that, like, I'm sorry. The dude's not going to be able to work out for 2 weeks when he's dealing with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck? Yeah, he's going to put on a little fucking weight. So what? Who cares? Give him a fucking break, dude. I don't know. That pissed me off a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's something that might be interesting. Apparently, HBO's in the works on creating a scripted series about Elon Musk's SpaceX. HBO is about to add Elon Musk to a premium cable channel's iconic roster of characters. A new report says that SpaceX Limited series is currently in development at HBO, centering on Musk's space exploration company, and Star Trek Beyond co-writer Doug Jung will serve as a writer and executive producer for the script.
I don't really care for Elon that much, so
I mean,
nah.
I just think, honestly, people are stretching to try and make movies right now. Like, Disney also recently released a behind the scenes documentary of Lin-Manuel Miranda while he was making Hamilton. And I haven't seen it yet, but I'm like, why the hell do we need to watch this? Like, why the hell is this even a movie? Like,
Well, I want to consider that a movie. It's more a documentary.
and I keep seeing things where they keep doing that, where it's like, why is this even a thing that we're doing right now? Like, I don't entirely understand the ideas behind it.
I get that. I think people like to see the behind the scenes on stuff like that. Those always do well. I'm okay with that. I don't care about Elon. Like, I know everyone cares about Elon. I don't. I think he's an asshole. Genuinely. He's part of the fucking capitalist machine. He's part of the problem. Sorry. What? Huh? Who said that?
And then if we don't like his ideas, then he's gonna call us a pedophile.
Yeah.
Dude, I remember. Did you ever see Nerdist's Musk Watch?
No.
It was literally Kyle Hill and Dan Casey doing a weekly news article, video on just what Elon Musk did that week, and it was ridiculous. It was funny, but I think they got a cease and desist order because they had to stop. Like, they talked about wanting to keep making it, but they had to stop making it.
I just don't care. Like, I don't care about Elon. I'm not gonna watch it.
Okay. I mean, other things that they're talking about, like, there's talks of remaking movies still, of course. Like, let's see here. One that I just saw that interested me is Sigourney Weaver on Called My Agent and working during the pandemic. There is talks on working with the Watchmen creator Alan Moore and creating a thing called The Show and becoming Orson Welles in a show called Mank. There is conversations of Netflix planning to release a bunch of animated movies coming out soon. Let's see. Woody Allen's A Rainy Day in New York finally reaches U.S. theaters. Only to fizzle out because no one's going to theaters.
Also, Woody Allen's a piece of shit, so how the fuck is he still making movies?
Good question. Oh, there was something that I thought was funny. Let me find it up again. The War with Grandpa makes more money in the domestic box office this week than Tenet. A Robert De Niro comedy where it's a battle between Willie Septuagenarian and his grandson over a bedroom, which was supposed to hit theaters in 2018 but has been delayed until now. Doing better than Tenet.
Are we surprised? No one's going to theaters, man. Why would no one wants to go to theaters right now. I mean, people want to go to theaters. Let me correct myself. I want to go to a theater, but I don't want to go to a theater.
Not until I know that it's safe for everybody to go to a theater.
Yeah.
And right now our president is sick with COVID and decide, I'm going to put on an event every day of the week. So I personally don't feel safe.
Nope, not in the slightest.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, here's one. Lost City of D might reunite Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, whatever that is. Oh, a new romantic comedy being compared to Romancing the Stone.
Okay, you cannot compare it to Romance in the Stone. How fucking dare you? That is a Michael Douglas classic. I love Romance in the Stone, dude. That is a movie I fuck with.
Now I'm just picturing that going on in the backgrounds with Dev, like, hey.
Okay, you know what? You know what I fucking
See, live action Tintin movie being developed by director Patrice Leconte, who doesn't actually have the rights to the character at all yet, because it's Steven Spielberg's Tintin.
Yeah, because like, so yeah, weird tangent. Romance of the Stone is a movie I fucking adore. All right, great movie. Stars Michael Douglas and Kathleen Turner,
Mhm.
who also both were in War of the Roses. Same with Danny DeVito, who was in both Romance of the Stone and The Jewel of the Nile, which is the sequel to Romance of the Stone, starring all three of those as well. Um, it's it's like a weird like War of the Roses is a weird not sequel to those two movies, but like in your own head canon, you can make it a sequel to those movies. Um, but like Sean Austin's in War of the Roses. I don't know. It's just I have a weird affinity for Romance of the Stone and War of the Roses, man. Like those two movies go hand in hand for me. I don't know.
No worries.
So if you're gonna compare yourself to that, you better fucking live up, man.
They're comparing themselves to that, or at least some people are comparing it to that.
You've got a lot to live up by trying to compare yourself to Romancing the Stone. Like, come on, come on.
All right. Well, I got nothing else other than next week's movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
doing Halloween and Halloween 2, Rob Zombie, so 07 and 09.
Yeah. Rob Zombie. I honestly still I really enjoyed these movies. I know like at least the themes. Like these next movies coming up are probably once again going to be minor disappointments because like nostalgia kicks in more than it needs to. But I'm just really happy with the movies we picked this month, man. Like this is the most excited I've been.
It's because horror is your alley, and we're just right up your alley this month.
It's so
horror is
great.
not my alley, and man, this month so far has been
Boring.
because I don't get scared by these movies, man.
Yeah, I understand. And you're definitely not going to get scared by any of the movies coming up.
No.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. You might get scared by the 1978 Dawn of the Dead.
No, I won't.
It's pretty. All right.
I'll be more scared of what we do the month after.
Speaking of which,
in a couple weeks.
I kind of forgot video game adaptations. There's a lot more adaptations out there than we're getting. Like we haven't done 300. We haven't done Silent Hill.
Comic book. 300 is not a video game. That's a comic. Which we can do for a comic book.
Yeah, we still can do that. There's
there's a lot of comics we haven't hit. I mean, we've hit some weird ones. I mean, what we hit last month comic book wise, we did Green Hornet. Like, wait, that wasn't last month. Last month we did what was our comic? We did the Dark Knight trilogy. Just because we wanted to watch something good that month. Listen, I mean, we're gonna do that one eventually, and it kind of hit the Nolan point. Tenet was talked about, so it made sense to do that at the time. We would have done probably like we debated like this month if something we were debating early this year was what we were gonna do this month. That was one of the earliest debates we had. Weird in-house talk, real quick. I like talking shop occasionally on these shows. Me and Steven had discussed what were we gonna do for October this year, back when we still had a slate, because there weren't a lot of good horror movies coming out this month. Originally that we wanted to see, except for the Halloween movie, which was supposed to come out this year. Oh no, it would have come out next year. So we had to, so we had a huge debate on what we were going to do this month. Like some of it was debated. Do we do like the Halloween movies all month? And just grade all those before we go into that franchise more again. I mean, it was one of the things that like this month is one of the ones that we actually debated a lot early into the year. And we kind of came to the conclusion of what we wanted to do for this month back in like February, March. Like we had planned that we were just gonna do 1 week for each kind of thing that we wanted to do. Like this was like OG slasher week. Next week is like remakes. We have zombies the week after. We had the first week, like we had the idea that we wanted to break things up into weeks.
Yeah.
For this one, instead of doing one franchise. Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting to see like this month was the least affected by this year.
I mean, who knows what random horror movies... Like, honestly, if we were still doing releases, we probably would have watched Hubie Halloween, the new Adam Sandler movie that came out on Netflix. Yeah. And
I'm so glad we came up with this schedule before we knew that was coming out.
Like, I genuinely feel like I don't want to watch that movie only because it's once again Adam Sandler playing the developmentally disabled person. Like mentally developmentally disabled, and he's not that kind of person, but he loves playing those kind of characters because he thinks it's funny.
Well, also he said the next movie he makes is going to be the worst movie he ever makes if he gets snubbed at the Academy.
That's true. I don't think though that this is going to be the worst movie he's ever made. At least I hope not, because I still plan to watch it at some point. Just probably not for this show.
Fucking write me afterwards. I'm so glad we had this month before that was fucking announced. We had this plan like 2 months ago, like sort of, right? Well, we had an outline for this month 2 months ago.
So you just said we had this planned in February. You can't say it's 2 months ago now.
We had the outline planned like since like February. We had this what the list of movies was going to be like a month and a half ago.
Something
like
that,
tail end of I want to say tail end of August. Like we had some idea of some of the movies we wanted to do, and we locked it in last month before that fucking trailer came on. Thank God. I saw that trailer. I'm like, thank you, me, for making sure we try to stay ahead of it for scheduling.
Yeah, planning. All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about? Are we done here?
We're done talking shop.
All right. So we're just done here, everybody. Thanks for being here. You're awesome. I appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe, bells. I'll eventually upload this stuff to YouTube.
Same.
Yeah. So thanks very much, everybody. You've been awesome, and we will see you next week for Rob Zombie's versions of Halloween. Till then, bye.
Bye.
Bye.